Thank you so very much. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM. I always pause to make sure I get that correct. I'm still adjusting. And let me say, of course, it's always a pleasure to be here to discuss health from a natural and integrated perspective. And, as you reminded the audience, it is an open forum. Additionally, we are live on all of our social media platforms. We are Batson Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batson Associates Trinidad. So you could always join us there. And of course, we have all our lives recorded, various information regarding the products, the services that we offer at Batson Associates. So, I always believe in information. I always believe in reading, research. So, if you want to ensure that you dot your I's and cross your T's and find out who we really are, what we stand for, what we have available, that is a good avenue to really look and, get some more information. So with that being said, today we're going to discuss the topic of hormonal imbalance. We're going to speak about hormonal imbalance as it relates to females. Because, of course, we have so many women in Trinidad and Tobago now that are faced with, a number of gynecological issues. You find a lot of women have issues with things like fibroids, polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, spin-offs from that, things like adenomyosis, infertility. You also have women who may have they may not necessarily know exactly what the problem is. However, they may be experiencing various type of symptomology. For example, they may have a very painful menstrual cycle. They may have situations where they actually skip and have irregular cycles. So they do not have a month-to-month cycle. They would actually skip and have maybe once every 3 months or 4 months. In some cases, they may have issues associated even with, as I said, severe pain. Because a painful menstrual cycle is never a good sign. It is always an indication of some underlying issue that needs to be addressed, primarily issues associated with hormonal imbalance, endocrine imbalance. So that's what we're going to discuss today. And of course, we're going to discuss what we at Batson Associates really do to address that situation. So when you're speaking about, for example, polycystic ovarian syndrome, polycystic ovaries is a situation where the ovaries themselves become polycystic in nature. So you have a situation where it looks like a lot of small, how to put this, maybe like small grapes or grape-like structures on the ovary itself. Usually a female who has situations with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they eventually start experiencing more problems if it is not dealt with properly. So as I mentioned, they may have a painful menstrual cycle. They may have an irregular menstrual cycle. They may find that they have situations where the flow is not as it is supposed to. So they might have a situation with spotting, or they might have the next situation where they have excessive bleeding. They have to change their napkins ever so often. They may have to use, in some instances, very thick napkins because of the amount of blood loss that they may have. And of course, sometimes in that situation, you have anemia that could actually come about. Someone who's anemic is someone who has a low blood count, because if you have a female who on a monthly basis has this excessive amount of bleeding taking place, she, of course, could reach a situation where she ends up being very anemic. And usually that's very easy to spot. I mean, the insides of your palm tends to look very white. You have situations where you feel cold very quickly. Usually your blood pressure tends to be very low. Your systolic, which is your upper number, usually the average female you would get, I mean, if you're very, very healthy, you exercise, you're active, you may get like a 125, a 120. You find a female who has low blood count, they may get very lower systolic numbers. So they might get 110 or 105, or in some cases 100, or in some cases even in the 90s. So that in itself, if you're experiencing something like that as it relates to your blood pressure, that's a clear indication that you are anemic, or you have some sort of anemic situation where there is issues with B vitamins, whatever the case may be. And that, of course, needs to be addressed. when you're looking at the situation, as I mentioned, with polycystic ovarian syndrome, what options do you have? So usually you would find instances where metformin might be recommended. Metformin, of course, is a class of drugs that is used primarily for hormonal disruptions in the body, which is why it's primarily used for diabetes, but it is also recommended for women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Not being critical, my opinion where that is concerned, of course, is always a matter of actually addressing the root cause of the problem and not necessarily just addressing the symptomology. So, of course, the next question would be, what is the root cause of polycystic ovarian syndrome? So let's go back a bit. So you have been diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. It means that you have some sort of hormonal imbalance issue. So what are hormones? Hormones are chemical messengers in the in the body that do just that. They basically give messages to have certain things done in the body. As it relates to women, estrogen, of course, is one of the dominant hormones that plays a significant role in proper menstrual cycle. You have progesterone, even gonadotropin, prolactin, and a few others. Now, the thing is, what really controls hormones in the body? So we're going further back again. So the endocrine system is primarily what is responsible for dealing or for the production of hormones. So when we're talking or speaking about the endocrine system, we're speaking about your glands. So we're speaking about things like your adrenals, your parathyroid, your thyroid, your pituitary glands. And these, of course, we know are responsible for the production of hormones. So in natural medicine, one of the things that we always look at, as I said, you have to look at the causative factor. What caused this particular female to end up with polycystic ovaries? So we already went back to hormones. We went back to the endocrine system, but we're going to go back a bit further. So we're going to go back to the gastrointestinal system, which primarily has to do with what? So here we're speaking about bowel movement or the elimination of waste, and we're also speaking about the assimilation or the digestion of food. So it is often a key indicator, and I've seen this over the past 12, 13 years of practice, because I've dealt with a lot of women with situations with polycystic ovaries, infertility, fibroids, adenomyosis, thickness, endometriosis, thickening of the uterine lining, that type of thing. And without exception, 98% of the time, all these women have gastrointestinal problems. So what do I mean? So when we're speaking about gastrointestinal problems, we're speaking about things like acid reflux, excessive bloating, excessive gas, flatulence, constipation. You usually find these women have a lot of issues with that. One of the causative factors as well of polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, those type of things, has to do with poor blood circulation in the uterus and surrounding organs. Because blood circulation is very important. I mean, a lot of persons do not understand that blood is responsible for transporting oxygen and nutrients to cells. And of course, cells give you tissues, tissues give you organs, organs give you organ systems, and organ systems give you the body. So if the circulation in that particular area, the uterine area, the digestive area, the colon, is not as it's supposed to, you're going to have the accumulation of waste. You're going to have issues because the body is not able to clean itself from a cellular level, which is very important. So, of course, the next question is going to arise, what can women do from a natural perspective to correct the situation? And I will give you that information just now. But allow me to, first of all, give you our telephone numbers and clinic locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We're also on the corner of Ramsamooch Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. The telephone number for Chaguanas is 222-8261. Again, that's 222-8261. Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is 220-8113. Again, that's 220-8113. And Tobago is 226-4553. Again, that's 226-4553. So, as I was saying, Samantha, you'll interrupt me if and when we have a question, right?
We actually do have
Okay,
a
good.
WhatsApp message,
Okay.
and it reads, will my fibroids shrink when I am in menopause?
Oh, that's actually a very good question. So when you're discussing fibroids, let me just go back a bit. So you have different types of fibroids, right? You primarily have, if memory serves me right, 5 types of fibroids. You have pondulated fibroids, you have submucosal, you have intramural, and there are 2 others. The thing with fibroids, so they are given their names based on the location. The intramural ones tends to be very troublesome. Those are the ones in the wall themselves, the lining. The thing is, when a female goes through menopause, because of the change in hormones, it is usually, in some cases, the case that your fibroid is going to shrink. However, that is not always the case. And it's not always the case because you're not only dealing with hormonal imbalance, but your body, the entire body in itself, is basically out of alignment. The equilibrium is not as it's supposed to. And as a result of that, that may not necessarily happen. And I'll explain why too. There are a lot of women who have gone through menopause. So let me give an example. You may have a female who has gone through menopause at the age of 45, or let's say 50. And she is now 70 years. So that is 20 or 25 years subsequent to going through menopause. However, she has situations where she might be experiencing some type of bleeding. You go to the doctor, and the doctor would recommend a CT. And what they realize is that you have fibroids, and the fibroids are pretty large. So the assumption that because you go through menopause, your fibroids will automatically shrink does not necessarily hold with all individuals. And I've seen that in a lot of cases. Because the body is consistently in a state of hormonal disruption, a number of things can continue, including the growth of fibroids after menopause. So that is not necessarily the case. Okay?
The person is asking a follow-up question to that one. They're saying, in that case, would it mean that I should go through with the surgery?
In all honesty, I don't have all the details of the particular case. My advice is this. The surgery that is usually recommended for fibroids, you have 3 surgeries that they could recommend for you. They could recommend a myomectomy. Myomectomy is basically where they remove the fibroid surgically. You have something known as a hysterectomy. The hysterectomy is when, well, you have partial and total hysterectomy. So a partial hysterectomy would be where they just remove the uterus and you keep your ovaries, and a total hysterectomy would be where you remove the uterus and the ovaries. And then there is one other one, which is embolization, and that's where they actually cut or sever the blood vessels that lead to the fibroids or that feed the fibroids. Now, in all instances, me personally, I'm not really an advocate of it, simply because in an emergency, if you're at a state where you have no choice, the situation has been left and it has gotten really bad, and you have excessive bleeding and whatnot, then it is a life-threatening situation. So in a case like that, surgery is your only option. And that's why I tell persons, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. If you know in your very early age you have problems, then you should try to address those things immediately. The thing is, once that is not the case and it is not an emergency, there are a number of things that you can do from a dietary perspective, from an exercise perspective, from a supplemental perspective, that could correct and actually shrink and remove fibroids. And I've seen that on numerous occasions, because the thing is, because of the type of tissue that exists in the uterus, that type of tissue is easy for the production of scar tissue, adhesions, and of course you have the issue of actually when you lose your uterus and your ovary, you have the likelihood of developing mental issues, because there's a serious connection between those organs and your central nervous system. So that female could end up with serious depression, anxiety issues. If you look at history, a lot of women who have done hysterectomies, they literally ended up in psychiatric hospitals as a result of that. So, that is not necessarily the first option that I would advise anybody to take. You have to look at it again from a holistic perspective where diet has to be taken into consideration. A lot of women don't like to hear this, but chicken is not really a friend. And if it's a yard fowl, you're eating all well and good. But if you're using commercial chicken, you're going to have some problems, because we know in terms of production, they have to use things like antibiotics and hormones. That in itself significantly upsets the equilibrium in the hormonal system in women. So a dietary consideration has to be taken there, where you have to restrict some things, change some things, put some exercise. In some cases, you may have to lose weight. And that in the long run is always the best option and leaves you with the least amount of side effects. Okay.
A reminder that you are listening to Dr. Jason Batson, PhD, Senior Medical Consultant at Batson Associates. And if you have a medical question you would like to ask him, feel free to call us at 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. You can also send those medical questions to our WhatsApp, and the number is 306-1065, 306-1065. Dr. Batson, we have a message that reads, hello, Dr. Batson. I am a female in my mid-30s, and I have low to no sex drive. What would you advise?
Okay, so in a case like that, usually, again, is some indication of hormonal imbalance. So what I normally recommend for individuals, there's a product that we carry at Batson Associates called Santulan, Santulan. That actually means balance in Hindi. Now, that product is a 7-channel detox. So it cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. So my advice to most persons, a detox always helps a lot of situations. And I'll give you an example. Some people may have problems with headaches. You're always tired. Your bowels don't move as you like. You have problems with low sex drive. Even in the case of men, ED, erectile dysfunction. And a lot of the times, you have to understand that because you're not getting proper circulation, because you have to understand that blood, again, transports oxygen and nutrients to cells, every basic cell in the human body. So if it isn't, that exchange is not happening as it should, you're going to have disruption in a number of systems and organ systems in the body. There's also a product we carry called Alkagen water, which is a premium alkaline water, for which I'm a big advocate of, simply because pH, which stands for percentage hydrogen, makes a significant difference in the body. The pH of human blood is slightly alkaline, which is like 7.32 or something like that. Oxygenated blood is a bit more alkaline, 7.3 something. But the point is, when you look at acidity, alkalinity in the body, there are specific aspects that once you do that, there are advantages and benefits in that particular situation. There's also a product we carry called Women's Formula and Female Balance, very popular. And what those do is actually address not necessarily the hormones, but the endocrine system. So it actually deals with the glands in now helping with the proper production of hormones. So once a female has proper hormonal production, then that situation of sex drive, libido would basically be corrected.
Again, our hotline numbers are 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. You can also utilize our WhatsApp. The number is 306-1065, 306-1065. Dr. Batson?
Yes, and let me just give you our telephone numbers. Again, those numbers for the Chaguanas office. Chaguanas is head office. That's first floor Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. That number is 222-8261, 222-8261. Daybay Clinic is located on the SS area Main Road, corner Ramsonwood Trace. That number is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. And St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And that's the Western Main Road, St. James, Red Edge Mall. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226-4553. 226-4553. And of course, our WhatsApp, if you may need to, you have a long question or something that you want to type out, you want some information, that WhatsApp number would be 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And you could also call that number if it is you want to access our delivery service or you want information on products and services as well.
The company Batson and Associates started its operations in September 29. It is an organization of trained health consultants and practitioners in Ayurvedic, Chinese, holistic, natural, and nutritional medicine. Dr. Batson.
Yes, we have a question here on our Facebook. So someone is asking the question, is it that you're saying that if you have a painful menstrual cycle, that something is wrong? Isn't pain to be expected with your cycle? And that's a very good question. And that's something I tell persons. You would expect some discomfort, yes? I mean, if we were to, okay, how could I scale this? So let's say we on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, a female is saying how much pain she may get during her cycle. Usually in some cases at the beginning of the cycle, the first day may be very painful. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, let's say your pain is about 5 or 6. That possibly is okay. But if it is your pain is 8 and 9 or 10, you have to take some sort of painkillers. You have to take a number of things. You can't go to work, you can't function, you have severe back pain. No, something is definitely wrong with you. And again, it is an indication of early situations. The problem with a lot of females, and the World Health Organization has stated this, because they have realized within the past 10 years, the amount of situations as it relates to infertility, polycystic ovarian syndrome, the numbers are atrocious. You have females in this country, very, very young women. They're not even young women, they're young girls. I mean, where you have 13, 14 years, and they already have serious problems with their menstrual cycle. Another problem that a lot of women experience that, could be mistaken for a lot of things is the situation with yeast. A lot of women may have vaginal yeast infections, and you get infections constantly. Some people have urinary infections constantly. Some people have kidney infections constantly, or bladder infections. Once you have infections in that particular aspect of your anatomy and physiology, that is basically saying, listen to me, you have a systemic yeast problem that primarily came from the gastrointestinal system. The most amount of digestion takes place in the small intestines, and it basically goes into the bloodstream. So it means you have some sort of systemic yeast. And when I speak about yeast, I'm speaking about something known as Candida albicans, which is a particular type of fungus or yeast that literally wreaks havoc in a lot of women's life. Now, men get it as well, but of course, it can't manifest itself the way it would manifest itself in a male as it would manifest itself in a female based on our anatomy. So a perfect example, if you have dandruff, you have yeast. If you have what they call lota, you have yeast. If you have fungus in your nails, in your toes, you have yeast. And the same applies to men. And men would have like dandruff or what they describe as dry scalp, but that has nothing to do with your scalp. That is primarily a yeast situation that is now manifesting itself on the skin. If you have situations, some people get what they call situations where they have like acne. Because most women who have problems with polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, they have usually bad acne or bad skin. And a lot of the times, you may go to the dermatologist and you give them ABC, whatever the case may be. But that, again, is not dealing with the root cause of the problem. Some women have severe back knee as a result of that. And these things raise, or you find it happens consistently with the menstrual cycle. So at the beginning of the cycle or just before, during the cycle, even after, some women hate their skin because they have a lot of breakouts. But that is because that whole yeast situation and that condition of the gastrointestinal system is not as it should. And as a result of poor gastrointestinal health, you now have an endocrine problem. And as a result of having an endocrine problem, you have a hormonal problem. And as a result of having a hormonal problem, you now have either polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, even infertility. Women who end up with ectopic pregnancies, and ectopic pregnancies when you have the fetus basically getting stuck in the fallopian tube. Of course, that's emergency surgery, and in some cases, the tube would have to be removed completely. But when you have ectopic situations, it is simply, again, an indication that that particular individual had or has hormonal imbalance situation or a situation that was never really addressed. And, that is one of the things that we do at Batson Associates. I mean, when we do the live blood analysis, a live blood analysis is where we take capillary blood, which is blood from your finger. We put it under a high-powered electron microscope, and depending on the lens that we use, we would be able to look for certain things. Now, the thing is, blood has a particular way that it's supposed to look, it is supposed to behave. And the thing is, blood is the greatest witness, I always tell persons, which is why blood is the most tested serum in medicine, right? If you have a problem with your prostate, you do something called a PSA, which is a prostatic-specific antigen. If you have a problem with your thyroid, they're going to do something called a TSH, which is a thyroid-stimulating hormone. They would look at T3, T4. They have to, in order to do that, they have to take blood. The difference with a blood analysis or a live blood microscopy test is that the consultant who is trained is able to now look and determine a number of things. We're able to see something known as your biological terrain. And just yesterday, I was explaining this to a client when I was reviewing a test that was done by one of my consultants. And one of the things I was sharing with them is that you're able to see something known as your biological age. And your biological age simply is the age of your organs or your body. There are some people chronologically, you might be 30 or 40 years, but biologically you double that or maybe triple. And I've seen that in numerous instances because you have high levels of inflammatory response in the body. Medicine has learned a while now that inflammatory response or inflammation is basically the cause of all disease. Anybody who doesn't know that, they need to go back to medical school. That's basic. So inflammation we know is normal, is regular. If you don't have inflammation, your body is not able to protect itself because that is one of the mechanisms of protection in the body. But inflammation, when it is excessive or exorbitant, that is where it now creates an environment that is conducive to disease. So with high inflammation, and a perfect example of that would be people who suffer from autoimmune conditions. So people who have lupus, fibromyalgia, diabetes, asthma, and all these type of autoimmune conditions, MS and all these things. It is because the inflammatory response is so high now that it now causes a situation of different diseases in different organ systems in the body. So high inflammation, for example, in the uterus is going to cause fibroids, polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts. If you have high inflammation in your arteries, you're going to end up with blocked arteries. You have high inflammation in the blood vessels in your brain, you're going to end up with vascular dementia. You're going to end up with Alzheimer's. So once inflammation is out of control, you are in a situation where the body is almost defenseless and disease now can be rampant. And then some persons, of course, don't really have the knowledge as regards to proper water intake, proper hydration, proper exercise. The diet may not be as it's supposed to. So all of that now creates an environment that is basically going to cause you to be sick. And you're just going to continue to be sick for a number of years until that situation is corrected. Okay?
Batson and Associates provide alternative, natural, and integrated services and programs for individuals who choose to address various health issues and ailments such as weight loss, diabetes, acid reflux, constipation, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, and much more. The company also provides services such as live nutritional blood cell analysis testing, critical body function analysis testing, and foot spa detox. Dr. Batson?
Yes. And, one of the things too as well, let me say quickly, when you're looking at symptomology, because, there are a number of persons who ill and, it's almost as if, the old people ever say you're spinning top in mud because you may be sick, you may be asthmatic, you have sinus, you have diabetes, you have hypertension, you have cardiovascular disease, you have high cholesterol. And, you're spinning top in mud. You're just going wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong because you have these diseases, for years. So, sometimes people ask the question, well, is there a cure for diabetes or hypertension? So cure is a word I do not use. That is a litigious word. You might end up in court with that. So we don't use the word cure, or I don't use the word cure. So we're going to use the word reverse. So how could we now reverse the situation that you are in? Can you reverse diabetes? Yes. Can you reverse hypertension? Yes. Can you reverse obesity? Yes. Can you reverse polycystic ovaries? Yes. The question is, you cannot necessarily just use a plaster for a sore. It's a matter of addressing, as I said, the root cause of the problem. As I gave the example with polycystic ovaries, before a female would get polycystic ovaries, she has to have had hormonal imbalance, which she would have had to have had, problems with the endocrine system. And prior to that, she would have had to have some sort of digestive problem. Now, a lot of the times, the problems are there, but they may be minor and you may not be able to identify them, but they're there. And over a period of time, it actually causes the situation to become worse. And your symptomology that you end up with is now polycystic ovarian syndrome. Okay, so with that being said, I know our time is close. So as we always say at Batson Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Samantha, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon, as well as the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batson. And that was our special health segment featuring Dr. Jason Batson of Batson and Associates. Visit them today.
Nice. So, social media people, Facebook. I've seen some questions here. So let me see if I can answer some of your questions quickly because I have to leave. Ms. Pamela Moses, how are you doing? A good afternoon to you. Doc, how will you know your arteries are clogged? That's actually a good question. I mean, the thing is, usually they recommend angiograms. I'm not totally a fan of that because, you can end up with some problems with that. But if you're having problems with shortness of breath, if you're getting pain, like what they call angina, so you're getting a lot of pain on your left side, close to your heart, if you have to climb stairs, that's it. I was telling someone yesterday, you should be able to climb stairs until you die. Because that is one of the ways to know if you're healthy. People say, well, when I get old, I want to be living on the flat. No, what you want to be living on the flat for? You're supposed to be able to at least, within reason, you're supposed to be mobile, and mobility is essentially important to preserve health and to have a healthier lifestyle, right? So those are some of the things you need to look at, Ms. Pamela Moses. Of course, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And there are arteries, there are things that you could use to clean your arteries intermittently to ensure that you don't end up with blocked arteries. Okay, Ms. Kelisha is asking, hi, Doc, I'm guessing I have hormonal imbalance as I am extremely hairy for a woman and I also have fibroids. Correct, you can. Can you recommend something for me to take? And do I have to do a consultation? Well, I would recommend that you do a consultation. I don't know where you're located, so depending on where you're located, it will depend on when we'll be able to organize the consultation for you. But definitely there's a product we use called Women's Formula. That actually is a very good product. It helps. There's a product we have called Cyst and Fibroid Formula. Very, very good product. That has helped a lot of persons with cysts, fibroids, polycystic ovaries, that type of thing. So that's something that you could look forward to or you could check out. Miss Annie Grant is saying, good afternoon, Dr. Batson. Blessed day to all listening. Miss Frederica Joseph, good afternoon, Dr. Batson. I live in Brooklyn, New York. Which number do I call for overseas shipping? Miss Frederica, you can call 1-868-314-9975. Again, that's 1-868-314-9975. You could send us a WhatsApp there or you could just call and let them know. Okay, Ms. Moses, you're very welcome. So my Facebook family, I have to leave now. So those telephone numbers again are 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Daybase number is 223-7515. St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago is 226-4553. That's 226-4553. So it was a pleasure. So as we always say at Batson Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless you guys and do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And one more thing, we'll actually be at the 7 Days Adventist Hospital on the 22nd of this month. And they have their regular health fair. Ms. Vicky, who is always doing an excellent job, with where that society is concerned, making persons aware, of their health. And the good thing I like about them is that it's not a matter of this type of medicine, that type of medicine. Because the thing is, even though I'm a practitioner of integrative medicine, naturopathic doctor, I I'm simply a person who is concerned about person's health and want people to be healthier and have a better quality of life where their health is concerned. So it's not that I'm saying that we do not have need for medical. You have many different types of doctors. And depending on the need that you have, you may have to go to more than one. Nobody's saying no. But you have to understand fundamentally that how you treat your body is the way that your body treats you. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And I think Western medicine has failed in that regard, in the sense that they just give you a plaster for a sore and they do not address you and, you know, hold you accountable for the nonsense that you do where your diet is concerned. Because it is nonsense. A lot of people, you can't be drinking a soft drink every day and expect not to get sick. That's clownishness. You will get sick. That's excess sugar, that's CO2. Why are you drinking that so often? Right? Long ago, I remember we used to have sodas. It was for Christmas alone, and that was like when we would have pear drugs. But that was not a regular thing. It's the same thing with meat. We used to have meat on a Sunday alone, or maybe sometimes once for the month. And it was not a matter of poverty or anything like that, but it was a matter of parents understanding that, listen to me, you're supposed to have your portions of vegetables, your fruits and vegetables was something that we had to eat. We had to. And we know, I mean, that's not rocket science. The more processed food you eat, the sicker you're going to be. And some people, they just licorice and greedy and want to eat and drink everything. You want to eat ice cream, you want to eat cake, you want to eat everything every day and don't expect to be sick. That's foolishness. And then you go to the doctor and the doctor doesn't ask you what your diet is until you change your diet and pour you, you know, like a wandering Jew. You don't know what changing your diet means. But you're still eating foolishness and expect your blood sugar to go down or expect your blood pressure to read better. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. You are fooling yourself. That's delusional. Einstein said the only people who do the same thing over and over expecting a different result is mad people. You're mad, and St. Anne's need to pick you up. Something is wrong with you. So the first thing you need to do is be honest with yourself and understand, listen to me, I need to make a change. I need to stop eating 12 o'clock in the night. I need to stop, get up and go in the fridge and eat ice cream 11 o'clock. I need to lessen on the alcohol that I'm drinking. So if you're going online, drink coconut water and leave the people rum alone, because eventually you're going to pay the price. Now, there are some persons who will say, well, something had to kill you. Like I was down listening to a video that I was dying. You know, a lady, you know, she was quite funny in what she said, where, you know, she said that nobody's going to fat shame her. She will eat a cake because vegetables are so expensive. And then the people who telling her to eat healthy, you know, there was a situation where somebody died, you know, somebody licked them down. So she was saying all these mad people on the road, you might get bounced. So, you know, she says, you just better eat cheesecake. And I found that so hilarious. You know, but in all seriousness, you know, you have to really take better care of yourself. I mean, you don't know when your number will call. Nobody is saying no. And some people say that something has to kill you. However, common sense make before book. You know, if you eat better, if you drink more water, if you do some exercise, you're going to sleep better, you're going to feel better, you're going to be a better wife, you're going to be a better husband, you're going to be a better daughter, a better son. Because when you're sick, you don't want to talk to nobody and you're one of the most annoying people to deal with. I personally am not a nice sick person. If you have to deal with me sick, I'm telling you, you're going to get some costs. I am not going to be happy. All right? So with that being said, hey, honey babe, late in the dance, man. Honey babe, relax, babe, relax. You're getting a little fired up. Yes, honey babe, I hear you. So, my goodly people, we have some changes coming up because I know Sunday, please God, we're going to have a little, well, we're going to see how it goes. All right, but I'm going to have to do some makeup programs for you guys. So I'm going to ensure that I do that. I owe you all a Sunday evening program, and I will give you it very soon. And there are some that I have to do for you guys, okay? So I have not forgotten you. So with that being said, keep in mind those telephone numbers. We have eye optics formula in stock. If you have problems with cataract, glaucoma, detached retina, your eye bothering you, get our eye optics formula. It detoxes the eye, it removes metabolic waste, and it helps you see better. Santulan, if it is, you know, you have headache, you're not sleeping good, your belly hurting, you find your belly too big, Santulan, 7-channel detox, clean and detoxify, kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin and your lungs. Okay, we have nerve restore. If you know you have a problem sleeping, you don't sleep good, you get the nerve restore. You take one nerve restore with breakfast, and I'm telling you, in a week time, you're sleeping. Optimizer, if you have problems with your eyes, Optimizer helps to improve blood flow to the brain. That product has pycnogenol in it from pine bark extract, so it helps. It has a lot of antioxidants. Okay, our teas, we have to top up on some of our teas, but we have gastro, we have prostate, we have cholesterol. You have a lot of cholesterol. So if you know you have some high cholesterol, get some tea and drink. No milk, no sugar inside of the tea. All right, persons. So I know all they jump on, Honeybee jump on, Miss Josie Smith jump on. So I'm so sorry to leave you. Honeybee says, somebody tell this man I was here whole program and not late, please. Oh, okay. But I hear you, Honeybee. Right, so God bless you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Keep in mind those telephone numbers again. Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is 223-7515. That's the corner of Ramsamut Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago is 226-4553. That's 226-4553. So with that being said, God bless you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And see you guys Sunday, please God. Take care. Bye-bye.